Good morning, you guys. It's been a while since I've made a video for you guys, and I wish I didn't have to do this. I wish I could be in class with you. Today, for math, we're going to do a little review. Since it's been over a week because of spring break, I want to do a review on adding and subtracting fractions. So, just real quick, we're going to add and subtract fractions, and I'll do two examples. So, step one for adding or subtracting fractions is going to be add or subtract the whole. I don't have enough room, so we're making a number sign. The whole number. So let's do an addition problem first. 3 1/4 plus 2 2/4. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is add the whole number. What are the whole numbers in my problem? The 3 and the 2. Those are my whole numbers. And what is 3 plus 2? 5. Hopefully you didn't forget that over spring break, what 3 plus 2 is. Okay, step 2 is going to be, add or subtract the numerator. And remember, numerator, in our fraction, we have a number that's on top and we have a number that's on bottom. The numerator is the number that's on top. So for example, we have 3 1/4 plus 2 2/4. We already added the 3 and the 2. Now we have to add the numerators. The numerators are the numbers on top. So what is 1 plus 2? 3. That's the top of our fraction. And then the last and final step is very easy. It's denominator stays the same. I'm running out of my markers here. New markers. So our denominators stay the same. So we have 3 1/4 plus 2 2/4. Which numbers are our denominators? Well, these are our whole numbers. These are our numerators. Our denominators are on bottom. So do we add the denominators? No, they stay the same, right? We don't do anything to them. So we have 5 3/4. That is our answer. 5 3/4. That's all we do. So let's do another example. Let's do another practice one. But for subtraction. Let's do another practice, but for subtraction. So let's do 5 6/8. Fur all over this. Minus 2 4/8. Okay, so step 1, subtract the whole number. Our whole number is 5 and 2. What is 5 minus 2? 3. Okay, step 2. Gotta keep my pen open. 5 6/8 minus 2 4/8. Subtract the numerators. We got our whole numbers and we have our numerators. We already did 5 minus 2, which is 3. 6 minus 4 is 2. Sorry, my alarm went off telling me that my laundry needs to be taken out of the dryer. I will do that in a moment. So anyway, we have 5 minus 2 is 3. 6 minus 4 is 2. And finally, denominators stay the same. Denominators are down. Denominators are on bottom. So we have 3 and 2/8, and that is our answer, which can be simplified. But obviously when you do your problem, don't do it bonsai. Don't do it. Yeah. When you do your problems, you don't have to rewrite it 3 times, right? I'm just splitting it up so you can see each step. When you do it, you can just do it once. So let's do it once. One problem, we won't rewrite it a bunch of times. We'll do an addition. 4 and 3/7 plus 2 and 3/7. Why not? So step 1, add the whole number. What's our whole number? Whole numbers are here. 4 plus 2 is 6. Now let's do step 2, add the numerator. Which numbers are our numerators? Our numbers on top. 3 plus 3, 6. And finally, denominators stay the same. Which ones are our denominators? My number is down on bottom, so 7 stays the same. So that's our answer, 6 and 6/7. So that's what you're going to do today, just for review. And I wanted quickly actually, never mind. I think that's good for review, and we're going to move on to something new tomorrow. So I hope you are ready. Okay guys, so for writing today, you're going to have a new document. We've been writing in our kind of writing journal, and today you're going to have a brand new one, because you're going to start writing from the beginning of your story. You've already written all this stuff. You've already written most of your story, so you might have to copy and paste a lot from your writing journal to this, which is fine. But it's going to be a nice new clean piece of paper where your final draft will go. Today, you're going to start adding dialogue. Dialogue is the part of your story, remember, where people are talking. So you're going to start doing that. You will not finish it completely. It's okay if you don't get your entire story down with the dialogue. You're just going to start adding some talking pieces. Your characters need to be talking to each other. Whew, I just ran and took my clothes out of the dryer, and now I'm hot and out of breath. So right now I'm going to just show you, just some tips on how to write dialogue and your quotation marks, because I want you to do it quickly. So there's 3 different ways. Let me get on my markers while I catch my breath, to use quotation marks. So there's, we'll call it A, tag at the end. So when I say tag, I mean do your homework, said Mrs. Brazil. Said Mrs. Brazil is like the tag, right? Who said it? Who's talking? How did they say it? So let's do, I'll do an example. What's a good example? My students are crazy, said Mrs. Brazil. So your tag is this. Oh my gosh. You better not knock anything down. That's my tag, right? I put it at the end of my quotation. Couple things to remember. Don't forget you need both quotation on both sides, not you too. And you need your punctuation inside your quotation marks. So my students are crazy, said Mrs. Brazil. Another option, we'll call it B, is tag at the, we'll do beginning. Okay, so here we have it at the end, now we're going to have it at the beginning. Let's do Mrs. Brazil commented. Oops. Commented. You need quotation marks when you do it in the beginning. My students are crazy. So let me do this. We have our quotations and our punctuation, right? When we do it at the end. Now we have our tag at the beginning. I hope you can see that. We also have a comma here, and we have quotations. And we have punctuation inside of our quotations. Mrs. Brazil commented, comma, my students are crazy. That means I'm saying it, right? Quotations mean we're saying it. And then the last form that we'll do is C, tag in the middle. You probably won't use this one too much, but sometimes you can have it in the middle of talking. So let's think. Quotations. My students are crazy, said Mrs. Brazil. But in this case, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep talking. So I'm going to do comma, quotations, but they are awesome. All right, so now we have our tag in the middle. This is our tag. Said Mrs. Brazil. And we have quotations here, and we have quotations here, and we have our punctuation, and we have a comma here. I know it's kind of confusing, and I don't expect you to get it on the first try, especially since we're not together. But just kind of keep this in mind. If this is too confusing, having your tag in the middle, don't use it right now. We will practice it more and more until we get it. Just stick to this, having your tag in the beginning or the end, right? Ms. Brazil said her students are awesome. Ms. Brazil commented her students are crazy. And then you can also do it at the end. My cat smells, said Mrs. Brazil. All right, you can have it at the end. So just play with those and make sure you at least have those. The more dialogue, the better, right? It's interesting. You can learn a lot about characters by what they say. And that's what you'll do for writing today and tomorrow. I'm not going to do a different writing assignment tomorrow, so if you don't finish today, don't worry about it. Keep working on it tomorrow too. All right, we are going to read chapter 11 of Restart. And I'm actually not going to ask you a question right now. I'm going to wait till the end because I just want you to take in the story and listen and just pay attention. So this is from the perspective of Aaron, Chase's friend. My dad always uses this expression. If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Well, that isn't always true. It looks like Ambrose and it talks like Ambrose, but no way that's Ambrose. How can a person be so different just because he fell on his head? Okay, so he's sidelined from football, nothing you can do about some dumb doctor's orders, and amnesia. That's pretty out there, although Wikipedia says it's real. But even if every single memory is erased from your head, wiped clean like my phone when I dropped it in the toilet, you should still be the same person, right? Chase just isn't. That's not the kid Bear and I grew up with, played sports with, broke all the rules with, since we were in 2nd grade. You can see it in his eyes. He looks at us like he barely knows us, or any of the Hurricanes. I guess I understand that. We're like new people he just met for the first time. Even so, shouldn't we be starting to hit it off by now? That's not happening either. He's not into the things we're into. Not football, not anything. And that hurts. I get that his memory is erased, but is our whole friendship erased too? Being boys with someone isn't just a bunch of stuff you did together in the past. There has to be more to it than that. But right now, it's like we've got zero in common with the guy. Worse, the kids he does have stuff in common with are all the losers. The video club, really? The Chase I knew wailed on those guys worse than any of us. And now they're who he wants to hang out with? Who's next, huh? The Care Bears? And those wusses have totally forgiven him too. Except Shoshana, for obvious reasons. I wonder if he's figured out that yet. The big question is this. Is the old Chase Ambrose trapped in there somewhere waiting to realize what a dork he's being and get back to normal? Or is this new, nerd-loving Chase the only Chase there's going to be from now on? That's a pretty big deal. And not just because we're supposed to be boys. He has something that belongs to all three of us, something important. What if he doesn't even know he's got it? Bear isn't a deep thinker. He's all action. Dude, this is stupid. Let's just ask him. Say, we know you have it, fork it over. The guy has amnesia, I reason. That means he might not even remember where he put it. I'm super interested in what they're talking about. Bear snorts. You buy that? Trust me, he remembers just fine. That thing's valuable. He's faking all this amnesia stuff so he can keep it for himself. Shh. You're talking about our boy, I exclaim, angrily giving him a shove that would put one of those video dweebs halfway across town. You're a jerk for even thinking it. He shoves me back. Then you're the jerk, because I know you're thinking it too. But I'm not thinking it. Honestly, if Chase is just punking us all with this amnesia stuff, that would be better. If tomorrow he says, fooled you, I might be ticked off for a day or so, then I'd shake his hand for putting one over on us. Mostly I'd be glad to have the old Chase back. One way or the other, we've got a problem, I tell him. If we face him with it and he honestly doesn't remember, then we've just confessed to a guy who isn't really our friend anymore. Big deal. It is a big deal, I persist, because the new Chase is a goody-goody. He stands up for losers. He does community service when he doesn't have to. If he forgot what we did, I don't want to remind him. A guy like that could turn all three of us in because it's the right thing to do. Unless he's lying, Bear adds grimly. And we'll deal with that too, if necessary. We'll just have to wait and see. There's nothing more frustrating than trying to squeeze the truth out of someone when you can't let him know what you're trying to get him to say. I'm a plain guy. I like plain talk. But in this case, it's too dangerous. Our best chance to coax it out of him is at the Graybeard Motel. But it's not so easy there either. Bad enough he does community service when he's off the hook. Why does he have to be so gung-ho about it? It's depressing to watch him. He delivers more snacks in 20 minutes than Bear and I could stretch into a whole afternoon. And in that extra time, he reads to people. He pushes wheelchairs around. He helps the old foggies with cell phones. They don't have a prayer of figuring out. Is it just me, Bear mutters, or is he deliberately trying to make us look bad? I don't think it's on purpose, I mumble back. He really likes it here. The old fossils like him too. We can't walk 3 feet down the hall without some Dumbledore or Dumbledora hauling him in to adjust the TV or to reach something from a high shelf. Bear is insulted. We're taller than Ambrose. We can reach stuff. How come nobody ever asked us? Because we'd say no, I'd remind him. Or maybe just ignore them. Listen, it's annoying that all these blue hairs love Chase, but it's not a mystery. Even sour-faced Nurse Duncan, who wishes our community service was over even more than we do, has a smile for Ambrose, and an even deeper scowl for Bear and me. It doesn't help that Chase has forged the closest friendship of all with the one resident he should be staying away from, that crotchety old warhorse in room 121. Wouldn't you know it? The one graybeard who hates everybody and who all the other graybeards hate right back has decided to love Ambrose. Go figure. It's those stupid Korean War stories that brought the two of them together. Chase can't get enough of them. And the geezer is overjoyed to have someone willing to listen who doesn't have to change his hearing aid battery 5 times in the course of it. How come you guys have so much to say to each other? Bear demands. Ambrose shrugs. He's interesting. It's not every day you meet somebody who's been awarded the country's highest medal. Why does he always have to bring that up? It makes me nervous, and it makes Bear practically crazy. Wikipedia says the Korean War only lasted 3 years, I grumble. He's already told you every minute of it. What more is there to say? Ambrose laughs. He's nice. He's not nice. Ask anybody in the building. He calls noise complaints on squeaky wheelchairs. He yells out spoilers on movie night. The nurses hate him even worse than we do. If this was a reality show and they got to vote somebody out of the Graybeard Motel, he'd be on the street. But Chase gets called away to wheel Mrs. Berglund to her weekly canasta game, as if one of the orderlies couldn't do it. Maybe he just likes war stories, I offered to Bear. He isn't buying it. He never liked war stories before. And that's the whole problem. We know the kid, but we don't, which makes it almost impossible to figure out what's going on inside his head, or how worried we should be. And that's the end of that chapter. It sounds like Aaron, Bear, and Chase did something wrong, very, very wrong, and maybe stole something. Maybe Chase has something that they stole, and they're not sure if they're going to get in trouble. They're not sure if Chase remembers. It's kind of interesting. So that's going to be the question that I have you answer today in 3 to 5 sentences. What do you think Aaron and Bear are talking about that Chase doesn't remember? We can probably assume that he doesn't remember. What do you think Aaron and Bear are talking about?